Hello, I'm Avi Bose, Director of Aricheva Spoken English and Smart Classes. Well, our today's topic is way to interrupt and add your comments. So, do you want to know how to interrupt politely? So, let's go through it. Interrupting conversation is a little bit delicate. We have to do it correctly. Generally, it's rude and impolite to interrupt someone. So, here are some tips on how to interrupt a conversation. Be as polite as possible. Always speak politely and start the conversation with a polite introduction to your interruption. Interrupting is typically a rude thing to do. In fact, most of the time, interrupting a conversation or disturbing someone when they are talking isn't recommended. But there are situations that call for speaking up. Here are ways to interrupt that aren't quite so rude or disruptive. The most important thing to consider when you need to jump in and say something important is to show respect for other people. One to interrupt. If there's an emergency, the person is saying something that you know is incorrect. The group is gossiping about someone who isn't there, or there's any other strong reason to stop the discussion. You may interject as long as you do it politely. Knowing when and how to interrupt is essential if you want others to see you as a polite, gracious, thoughtful, and interesting person. 1. Conversation should be inclusive of everyone in a group, but there are some people who don't give others the opportunity to speak. If interrupting is the only way you can have your say, wait for the person to catch a breath and speak. Don't be that person who monopolizes the conversation. Being a good conversationalist involves actively participating in a discussion and knowing when to interject. One time to listen. So stop talking but look for opportunities to interject with questions or brief statement. Have a specific purpose. Whether you are jumping into other people's conversation or you're stopping someone's monologue, it's essential that you have a reason for doing it and the ability to relay that person talking. State the purpose as briefly as possible. Use proper timing. It's the best to wait until the person speaking stops to catch a breath before speaking up. Be as polite as possible. Always speak politely and start the conversation with a polite introduction to your interruption. Use a gesture. If your interruption is acknowledged, lift a hand or use eye contact to get the person's attention. When you make your gesture, you can say, "Excuse me for a sec, I'll keep this brief." Then say what you need to say as quickly as possible so they can get back to the conversation. Clear your thought. This is likely to have hands running in your direction. Take advantage of it to say whatever you need to say, but do it quickly. Keep a noticeable distance when interrupting someone else's conversation. If you walk right up to the person who is chatting, it may appear that you want to simply listen. Stand back a bit as you make eye contact to show that being part of their conversation isn't what you want. Get clarification. When you are in a business or committee meeting and the discussion is heading in a direction that you and perhaps others don't understand, it is okay to interrupt and get an explanation. You may be surprised by how many will thank you later. Chances are, if you don't understand, others don't either. Thank the other for allowing you to interrupt. After you say that what's on your mind, show your gratitude for the others allowing you to speak. This is how you should put forward your point of discussion. Navigate the discussion. Choose appropriate timing to enter the discussion. Do not leave a lot of time for follow-up the questions. Do not take or assume a lot of time so that other person cross-question you. Do not let the other person to speak for long stretches of time just because you do not have anything substantial to share. Learn to distinguish between interrupting and interjecting. Interruption includes raising a hand or showing hands gesture to stop the other person from speaking. Saying rejoinders such as, "Yes, excuse me, but, yes, but, well, I agree, but, let me ask you this. Let me say, now that, or, excuse me is considered as rude and sarcastic way to cut off someone's discussion, so avoid using it. Takeaway. Do not use such gesture to interrupt in the discussion as they can offend the speaker. Using the rejoinders in a polite manner, even if you wish to interrupt the other person. Speaking lines such as, "That was a great point, and I would like to add that." If you wish to contradict, then putting your disagreement by speaking, "That was really well put, however." Takeaway. Nobody would feel offensive when you would interject in between the discussion. You would even make other person feel interested in listening to your opinion as well. When to interject. Step 1. Wait for the other person to wind up their point. Step 2. Then speak some polite line to enter into the discussion as discussed above. Wait for the right moment. If you really need to speak in between, wait for the right moment where the other person stops to take that short pause. You can also express that you want to come in with your facial expression or just raise your hand if you want to add something. Interrupt. Okay, now that agreement and disagreement are out of the way, let's see how to interrupt politely when someone is speaking. While it is okay to interrupt when necessary, it is very important to ask yourself, why do you want to interrupt? Do you really have something valuable to add? Is there a valid reason? And if you want to interrupt just for the sake of doing it, better don't do it. But if you are convinced that you have a valid reason, here are some phrases that will come quite useful to you. I would like to add something. Excuse me for interrupting, but may I share an idea? Could I add something? Excuse me, I would like to say something. May I interrupt you? Could I interject? What about? Can I say something? Well, I hope you find these phrases useful.
Sif is difficult to learn for you, so let's learn with the music and dance. So let's start, here we go. With me.
I would like to add something. Excuse me for interrupting, but may I share an idea? Could I add something? Excuse me, I'd like to say something. May I interrupt you for the interject? What about? Can I say something? We have learned in way to interrupt and comment. We will learn in entertainment. We will interrupt and comment. We have learned in entertainment. We will interrupt and comment. We will learn in entertainment. We will interrupt and comment. We will learn in entertainment. We will interrupt and comment. Like to add something. Excuse me for interrupting, but may I share an idea? Could I add something? Excuse me, I'd like to say something. May I interrupt you? Could I interject? What about? Can I say something?
And now you all see her, and then I will interact. Okay? Is it clear?
Just ignore. Okay. No, I was thinking this.
Okay, guys, ready?
Yes, sir.
Do it, guys. Excuse me. Excuse me, I have to say something. How it's good.
And it both hands.
Like this.
Make hands.
Use like this. Oh,
Then
like
on
this.
the
Do like
next,
this.
may I share
Like-
an idea?
Could I take it down.
So, could I add something?
What's going on? You are saying regarding what?
Yes. We are adding now. One, two, three.
So guys, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Thank you so much.
Excuse me for nothing, but may I share an idea? Like to add something. Excuse me for nothing, but may I share an idea? Could I add something? Excuse me, I say something. May I interrupt here? Could I interject? What about? Can I say something? I would like to add something. Excuse me for interrupting, but may I share an idea? Could I add something? Excuse me, I'd like to say something. May I interrupt you? Interject. What about? Interject. What about? Can I say something? We have learned in agreement. We will drop that at your comment. We will learn in entertainment. We will drop that at your comment. We will learn in